Hey there, welcome to Cowork Mondays, week 6. I'm Scott Monday, and this is my 6-week how-to about applying Claude Cowork to your organization and your personal life. We've been on a journey, folks, and it's been a ton of fun. And while we've learned a lot of things along the way about how to set up our Claude account, how to work within Cowork, how to create skills, how to automate tasks that drive us nuts, today is all about how to share this knowledge with others and the collaboration tools within Claude Cowork. So let's dive into Cowork Mondays, week 6. So here I am within the Claude desktop application. Once again, this is required to use Claude Cowork and Claude Code. And what I want to do first is to show you the Teams and Enterprise configurations of Claude. So if you go down to the bottom left, you'll see your initials and your name. If you click on that and then click Settings, followed by Billing, followed by Adjust Plan, you will see that there are two different categories of Claude accounts that you can use. You can use an individual account, and within that there's Pro and there's Max. You can also click over here to Team and Enterprise. Now, the difference between the two of these is most likely related to how many users you're going to have on your account and how sophisticated you want the controls to be. For most small and mid-sized businesses, the Teams account is what you're going to be looking for, most likely at the premium seat level. If you have any intention to use Claude Cowork for any quantity of automations, my guess is you're going to burn through the standard seat pricing and tokens pretty quickly. So while you don't have to start with it, you're probably going to be upgrading to a premium seat along the way. Now, as you can see up here at the time of this recording, Claude Teams is for 2 to 150 users. That's an update in the last couple months. Originally, you had to start with 5 team users, so they've dropped it down to 2. My guess is they're wanting to get people onto team accounts earlier and more often, of course, for their self-centered profit-generating goals, I'm sure, but that's okay, because a team account will allow you to do some things that you can't otherwise do. For example, as an administrator, you'll be able to control the usage of your proprietary company information. You'll be able to more easily deploy Claude across your organization with sort of team-based sign-ins. If you're using Google Workspace to run your organization, you'll be able to interface with the Google Workspace accounts, really create a seamless type of experience. Additionally, when you have your team on a Teams account or on an enterprise account, you can share projects with each other. You can share skills with each other. It's really just, once again, a better way to collaborate going forward. The pricing is very similar to an individual account. So if you have any intention of rolling Claude Cowork out with your team, would highly recommend migrating to a team or enterprise account. Your first question is probably, Scott, can people migrate their accounts they're currently using over to a team or enterprise account? Yes, if you have a person on your team that's been using Claude for business, they can absolutely transition those sort of private or individual accounts over to a team or enterprise account once you get it all set up. So the next thing I want to talk about are Claude Cowork plugins. And plugins are located in your sidebar under Customize. And then you will see them right here underneath Skills and Connectors. Now, a plugin is simply a packaged set of skills. Skills are, in essence, bundles of actions and little bits of code that can run by prompting a chat to either run a certain skill or by using the / sign. But anyway, a skill is, in essence, imagine it being a task that you or many members of your team may want to accomplish in the same way every time. That's what a skill is. Now, a plugin, once again, is simply a package of skills. And there's a couple different ways to look at plugins. You can see right here, I have 4 plugins downloaded, and these are all native Anthropic plugins. And what I want to recommend that you do is I want to recommend you pop into the plugins and choose one, for example, engineering. You just click install and the plugin will get installed on your Cowork account, and then you can begin using it. Once again, these are just a group of different skills that can be super helpful. For example, the sales plugin is going to come with 9 different skills and 13 different potential connectors for you. So all of these skills are skills that Anthropic deems as appropriate for someone that focuses on sales to use. So if you were to click this install button, all of these 9 skills and these 13 connectors would be available to you, and then you can use them just right in Claude Traditional or Claude Cowork. I'll show you where those would live. So let's say I wanted to use one of my plugins. You just click the plus button here, go down to plugins, and you'll see all of your installed plugins and then the corresponding skills that they come with. So for example, if you want to download the marketing plugin, you'll have access to all of these different skills. And if you hover over any one of them, you'll see a little pop-up that tells you what that particular skill does. So for example, if you want to choose this skill right here within marketing, it will take something that you create or write, and it will then apply your brand voice to it. Now, of course, when you first set it up, you will need to train it on your brand voice, but once again, plugins are a great way to collaborate with your team. If you have processes that you want to adhere to, and maybe it's more elaborate than just a single skill, plugins are a great way to package those skills together. Now, you can create custom plugins by clicking the plus sign, create plugin, and you could either add from the marketplace, or you can upload a plugin if you want to share between computers, or you can create a plugin with Claude using the chat interface. So the next thing I want to dive into is a little bit of a revisit of skills. And I want to show you a skill I built yesterday that I think is pretty cool. And it just shows you how a skill can come together pretty easily using the chat interface. So if I click on Customize Skills, once again, you'll see all of your skills listed. If you're on a team or enterprise account, you can share these skills with the rest of your team. You can choose who you share it with as well. And so what I'm going to show you, though, is yesterday I created a skill that is called Monthly Financial Report Skill. So all I did is I went into Customize Skills, I hit the plus button, Create Skill, Create with Claude, and it opened up a Claude chat and it said, let's create a skill together using your skill creator skill. All right. And if I go back over and show you what we did, so that was the prompt that it gave me right at the top. And then I said, in essence, I have a monthly financial report that I generate, which is a series of spreadsheets. I want you to take that report on a monthly basis for each of our brands, and I want you to compare it against our Traction operating system and against various meetings that my leadership team has had over the previous couple months. And I want you to generate a 2-page report, in essence, like a cover letter to my monthly report. Now, this is something that I would do manually every month. I would generate the spreadsheets, and then I would work previously with ChatGPT to build a custom report every month, which worked just fine. But it got to the point where I was doing this for both brands every month, and I just want a skill that will analyze the data, analyze my past meeting transcripts, produce a draft for me to review, and then I can package it up and send it to the team. So in essence, it says makes sense, 2 separate analyses, 2 separate synopsises, and then it just asked me a series of questions. For example, it said, give me the series of spreadsheets that you want me to analyze. Give me an example of this. So I uploaded the PDF of the spreadsheets, and I took a little time to explain what was on each page of this spreadsheet package. It then said, let me read these pages. It read the pages. It summarized what it saw on each page. And then I told it, hey, I just want to make sure that you saw my notes in the middle of page 1. And it's, yep, I saw them. Here's what those notes said. So I was like, okay, cool. Then what I did is I gave them a synopsis from a previous month. I said, hey, historically, here's what I've delivered. It analyzed that as well. It then broke that down into a little bit of a structure for me to approve. I thought this was great. It was much more simple than what I'd done in the past, and I thought it was perfect for the audience that I'm sending this to. We dialogued a little bit back and forth. It said, hey, for one of your brands, I don't have the logo and the brand guidelines yet, so I uploaded those. And it worked through some more questions, and then it produced the example of the financial synopsis, this PDF right here. All right, so it produced the synopsis with the logo at the top, a 2-page summary, and I thought it looked great. It had up and down arrows along the way here in this middle section. So I said, hey, I'd rather you use a red, yellow, and green dot to signify how the metric is doing. It then said, no problem, built that out. And then once we locked it in, I said, I'm ready to build this into a skill. It built the skill, and then it said save skill, and I clicked yes. So that was it. It was literally a dialogue that lasted for perhaps 30 to 45 minutes, where I fed it some documentation, and then it produced what I wanted it to produce, made edits along the way, and then it turned this whole thing into a skill. And all I had to do was click save skill. And now if we go over to customize and skills, you will see the financial synopsis skill right here, ready to rock and roll. So these final two things I wanted to mention to you do not require a screen share, so I will just talk to you face to face, if you will. So as you're trying to roll out Cowork with the rest of your team, if you've found value in it, you really want to begin to train your team. And the way I think we're going to be doing that within our organization is simply identifying the 2 to 3 biggest pain points that my team faces, and then me working with them one-on-one to solve those using Claude Cowork. I feel like the first few times we do that together, it will be collaborative. And I feel like once my team sees how these things come together and how Claude Cowork, in essence, can solve its own problems along the way, I feel like my team will then be able to launch in creating their own skills and automating their own tasks along the way. So I want to encourage you, if you've been impressed with Claude Cowork, to try to disseminate it to the rest of your team by sitting down with them and picking just one task to help them automate. And the last thing I want to mention is the importance, if you want to be an AI forward organization, of rolling out these tools to your teammates the moment they start with you. We have a new team member starting with us next week, and we are very early going to be showing her Claude Cowork and how she can use it as part of her activities with our company. I think that creates a great precedence with your team, lets them know you want to give them tools from the beginning, and you want to come alongside them from day one to help them automate their job and really double down on this idea of all of our people in the years to come being co-workers along with agentic AI to do their best work. Once again, not so that we can replace our team, but so our team can focus on the things that they're great at, that humans are great at, and the AI can do what AI is great at. Thank you so much for following along these last 6 weeks with Cowork Mondays. I really had fun creating this content based on the feedback I've gotten and the analytics I'm looking at. Nearly 1,000 people have dove into these lessons and learned something along the way. That is super satisfying for me. I really like doing content like this, and I hope you benefited along the way. My name is Scott Monday. I have a Substack called The War on Mediocre Business, which is all about giving small and mid-sized business owners and operators tools to succeed. I hope you enjoyed this content. Check out the Substack. I'll go ahead and link it up in this video, and I wish you a fantastic rest of the day.